Hey, everybody. Today, wait, what? Oh, I changed the dialogue for this script. I was just going to go off the top of my head. I guess I should read my own script. Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Podheim, Jiroc's Valheim podcast. Let's give him the business.
Hey, everybody. We're here to give you the business, and today is May 2nd, 2023. I'm your host, Jiroc the Viking, and joining me today are my fellow Vikings, Shield Maiden, Morning Darkness.
Hi, I missed you.
We also have Viking Vaste.
Hello there.
And joining us today for the first time is Viking Dorn.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome in.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast, Dorn, or should I say WSR Gamer 1970.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, we'll get into all that, and we would like to interview you, ask you a couple of questions, but first I want to give a quick preview of the things that are coming. Morning Darkness, do you want to let everyone know what we're going to be covering today?
Yeah. So we got another preview of the fancy new clothes. Maybe handheld fireworks? What? New catapults? Probably buggy. Maybe. Or buggy with catapult? Who knows? Interpretation is all available to you. And new images of the Ashlands with skeletons, the fallen Valkyrie, and the bone serpent.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. So you just the audience probably heard that, but your audio is cutting out, like your the threshold might be a little too high. It's cutting you off at times. But your first thing that you said, because I didn't hear it, was she mentioned that there'd be fancy new clothes. The clothes word got clipped. But yeah, fancy new clothes, handheld fireworks, buggy catapults, and a bunch of cool Ashland stuff. But before we get to that stuff, we're going to cover that coming up here and show at least for the viewer, some of the images. We'll Morning Darkness will do her best to try to explain to those just listening the images when we get there. That's always a bit tricky when you got some weird images that are like, you don't have a reference in real life to compare it to, but some of this stuff we do.
I will do my best.
Yeah. But Dorn, so you're a member of my community. When did you join my servers and my Discord community?
Actually, just last month I joined in. Just prior to the new season 4 opening up.
Yeah, nice. So that season 4 trailer that I did, is that what made you decide to give it a try?
It was prior to that I started watching and seeing your videos and seeing your servers that I was like, wow, Jotun Quest was the first that I ever heard of you and the gaming community. So
nice.
It was prior to that.
For the listeners, if you don't know what Jotun Quest is that he just mentioned, that's my permanent modded server. It's like, so we got a lot of mods in there that add a lot of new content, and it's a permanent server. And so that one just runs all the time. But yeah, we recently launched a season 4 server, which we're going to talk a little bit more about, because there's some fun things to let people know that's going on over there. And it's a vanilla server, so no mods are needed to play it. So it's pretty interesting. But Dorn, what part of the world are you from?
Nova Scotia, Canada.
And what's the weather up there like right now?
Oh, good God. Typical rain, drizzle, fog.
In May.
Or tundra, yes, it's rain, drizzle, fog. It's usually, we have had good weather, but today's rain, drizzle, fog.
Okay. Yeah, I speaking of weather, something interesting. So I just got back last night from Southern California, a city called Indio, California. It's close to Palm Springs. It's out in the desert, and they had a heat wave hit.
Yep.
Normally, it's like around the high 70s or 80s this time of year, but it was 105 degrees. I think it was like 105, 102, and then 103 during a 3-day festival, a Stagecoach festival, one of the biggest country music festivals. And I have to say, it was a little miserable because it's all outdoors. It is super, super hot. So we're trying to stay out of the sun. So I wanted to wear my cowboy hat, obviously, and, wearing, if I could have worn my jeans and my cowboy boots, that would have been great. But no, I wore shorts, tennis shoes, a t-shirt that throughout the day, I kept running underneath the bathroom faucet to get completely wet and then put back on. And I wore this giant sun hat, which I'll wear at some point when I have to, use different hats for the competition with Gwen.
That brings a whole new term meaning to hot country.
Yeah. Yeah, hot country for sure. But they had a lot of different things there. It was funny. So on Monday when we leave, we're driving out, and when we get because it's about 500-600 miles away, so it's like a 7 or 8 hour drive. But when we get about 100 miles away, it dropped down into the 70s and it was raining.
Yep.
And then by the time I got home, it's like in the 60s and raining.
Yep.
Right, morning.
It started raining last night. We also had quite the heat spell, but it was in the 80s and 90s, not the hundreds.
Well, I have tons and tons of pictures, and I'm actually, at some point I want to share a few more of them, but I only have a few ready to share that I actually posted on my YouTube channel, on my community post. I'm sure some people saw that. So let's switch.
I saw it.
Yeah. So actually, it might even be better to show this one first. So at one part of the festival, Guy Fieri had a whole setup where he was doing like this barbecue with some of the celebrity singers that were there. It's mostly country singers, but ZZ Top is on tour right now. And so they stopped by and did a set, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. So, this is Billy Gibbons. He's, one of the two ZZ Top band members that, wore the long beards. The other member actually passed away in 2021. But they still have their original drummer too, and they had another person covering for them. And it might be kind of hard to see, but this guy here was wearing a wig and a beard, just to.
And it was hot.
Yes, and this was on a day where it was like over 100 degrees. But yeah, so I saw them first at the barbecue, and I was very close to the front because I'd gotten there early because I really wanted to see Billy here. And you can see he's got his beautiful long beard. Actually, up close, I can see he's got a little bit of the orange in it, like myself. And actually, he came right up, and he was handing out, some of the barbecue, and I got some, and he looked at me and he went like that because he saw the beard. I'm standing right there.
Nice. So and by the way, for those of you who don't know, 105 degrees Fahrenheit is about 40 degrees Celsius.
Yes.
Just for reference points.
Yeah, just so you know how hot it was there.
So that everyone can bask in the glory.
Oh, I mean, what a trooper. I mean, look at him. He's wearing like a long sleeve, and he's black, and he's got this little wig thing on his head. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. Still, I just wish it were a little bit cooler.
No kidding.
But okay, so you're from Canada, and you said fog, so it must be some nice weather there. Dorn, I always love to know where everybody gets their name from. And now everybody, you know, if they listen to the podcast, they've heard our stories, how we've chosen our names. Can you tell us how you came to choose the name Dorn for your character and your alias?
Very simple. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
My first character and always been a character. And I've always had that name. Even so, prior to knowing this, I was chatting with my cousin. He's in New Zealand. And he ended the conversation with Forever Dorn. And I was like, yeah, you don't know, buddy. And so, yeah, it started back then. And I used to play with them and the old booklets. Oh, paperback, Dungeons and Dragons. And that's where the gaming development being on the computer was. I started playing the Dungeon and Dragon games.
Nice.
And
Which games?
And well, how did you land the name Dorn for your Dungeons and Dragons character? Was it just like a random name that you picked?
Yeah, I was just sitting there and I was like, what sound strong? And just because I wanted the kind of paladin, but not the lawful good, lawful evil kind of.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it's fun in a game to run around and be the antagonist also.
Yeah, you know. So, you know, I just thought of that and it came out of the blue. Just it always stuck with me and it just felt right. You know.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's easy. It's got, you know, it's a strong syllable, you know, Dorn, especially you're playing some kind of a fighter character, you know, you can announce yourself when you come in with a strong, you know, name rather than, you know, like soft syllables.
Felt like an only child. So I made a secondary character's brother, Jorn. So
Well, yeah, you could use a lot of the different letters of the alphabet. Just add it to the ORN there and get different siblings or offspring, if you will.
yes.
What are some of your favorite games aside from, without counting Valheim?
So other than Valheim, Skyrim was a big part. I think I put thousands of hours and enjoyed it immensely, how much you can immerse yourself in a game. And I enjoy those kind of RPG games. But prior to that was Dungeons and Dragons. My first game was on a Texas Instrument, Hunt the Wumpus.
Amazing. I love that. I love
And what kind of game was that game?
Oh, very DOS, simple. Walk around blindly in a cave, and oddly, you would bump into the Wumpus, and it would kill you. That was it.
Was it a text-based game, or what did it have graphics?
Graphics, it was. Oh my gosh, pixeled.
like on the same vein as like the early Snake game or Tetris, but like early like on your
early, yeah, earlier than that. It was like Tetris, like very Bollock, simple.
Yeah,
You probably did it with 50 lines of programming back in the day. But it was great. It was the start.
And have you played any other survival games besides Valheim?
I started doing the Sons of the Forest. Yeah.
Oh, that was your first survival game.
I just started that. I actually just got that prior to the Valheim. Like Valheim, I started in November. And I discovered it by you, Jiroc, and Ravens. So Beeble and Versad and stuff like that. I started following that and got interested into it because I was watching Skyrim and some of these things would cross over. And I was like, what is this basic looking game?
Deceptively basic looking.
Yeah, it's far from basic. It's graphically, it was just like, I just looked at it and I was like blinking and I was like, I've spent so much time modding my Skyrim to look realistic, and I was like, this is crazy. But once I dwelled into it, it was game changer. I really fell in love with it.
So that's how you discovered Valheim, was watching videos on Skyrim and seeing this crossover on YouTube?
Yeah, like I started
Nice.
going, what's this game? And then I started seeing like what you can build in it, and I was like, building? That's interesting. So yeah, when you got the added adventuring, you got the character building, so the D&D aspect, the going into the dungeons, and then building. It was like icing on the cake.
Nice. And then what convinced you to play on Jiroc servers?
It was the last podcast where he opened up to the whitelist, and fortunately I'm a retired paramedic, PTSD, and I felt Valheim was a great outlet for me mentally. I was able to concentrate and enjoy, and having that option to it was like the community in itself, like the different games, Jotun Quest, and what he developed was far surpassed like what I could imagine for the game, and it just really was brilliant. And I was like, I got to give it a go. I want to see what this was, because I've watched it and I've seen it and I've heard of it, and it was just so great. And when he reached out and allowed me into this wonderful world, yeah. And I thank you for that, honestly.
Oh yeah. So you only started playing Valheim last November. So it's just started the beginning of May here. So like about a half a year.
Yeah, it was after Mistlands release.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're a little bit of a latecomer. So you've got so in your single player game, were you able to get all the way through all the bosses in Valheim before joining my community?
I got to the plains before it handed my beard on a shield back to me.
Oh no.
So it took about that time. It was like the real grind, and I was like, okay, I can't. I thought it was all that, but no, I had to sit back and go, no. But it was that I got up to that. I've watched Gwen defeat the Queen, so I got to see that, and that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's interesting. A newer player, especially going from the standard Valheim to my new season 4 server, which I call Valheim Ancients, because I have like a storyline how it's like a really old world, a more ancient Valheim. And what I've done is I've taken things from the game, and it's interesting. In the game, almost everything is isolated to the biome that it's from, right? You don't find things usually outside that biome. Like skeletons might be one of the exceptions that you find in multiple biomes, like in the mountains and the dark forest or the black forest, and it may be one or two other things. But most things, they're just in that biome. And so I wanted an older world, and I added, things to every biome and tweaked every biome just a little bit. Now, was that interesting to you, coming from being a newer player who hadn't even finished the game, to then start over and see different things immediately in the meadows that normally aren't there?
Yeah, my chin hit the floor, literally. It was gobsmacking. It was breathtaking, to say the least, because it did you so much different. And when you get to see various items from different biomes just crisscrossing, it was wow. And it makes it a lot interesting. And yeah, thank you for the crisscrossing of the creatures.
It's real cool.
It's very cool.
It's I've done a couple of different seasons now, and 4. This is the 4th one, but I've had a couple versions of some other seasons. So actually, it feels like I've done 6 or 7 different seasons. But I've always kind of wanted to add things to the game that I would like to see And Valheim is like a great template for, a game that's just waiting for more plugins and more mods and more content, which they're adding over time. But the one thing that always just bothered me a little bit is there just wasn't enough content to each biome, and that everything was isolated to its one biome only. Like, I think one of the few things that you ever see in multiple biomes, besides like the skeletons, is the birch tree. Right?
Yeah.
It's in 2 different biomes. And that's like one of the only things in the game that you find in multiple biomes. Like, it just seems like if the world was lived in, there would be similar things from similar biomes mixed in. Sure, like the overall biome is the same, but a couple of things, like the ruins, like, oh, they spoiled me so much with the Mistlands, with the ruins, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because we just don't have enough of that. We had a couple of stone ruins that you find here and there throughout the world, but now these giant marble ruins and the giants, the Jotun remains, just like, why would that just all be isolated in one biome? They would go off and venture around and like the old Valheim. Maybe that stuff existed. Maybe current day, like it all got harvested by Vikings and it doesn't exist anywhere else. But it just seemed like, if the world is older, it would have, more things spread around. So that's what I did. But
it's perfectly laid out. It's just like I can't say it's like an homage to the game itself. It's really good. It works well. It's beautiful. It's fun.
Cool. And you still there with us, Vaste?
Yes. Do
you have sure?
Yeah, you've been around for a month. Do you have already a favorite scene or a moment from the server?
Absolutely. The screams and running from our party. No.
So lots of screaming and running around with the other players as you're getting chased by creatures.
Oh, I think I was sounding like the Archer meme of "Oh my god, oh my god" for the first hour or two, and how many deaths? Oh,
are you keeping a death counter?
No, I don't want to. I'm probably in a 3-digit mark now, I think.
Oh
wow.
no,
3 digits.
No.
Oh yeah.
What skills?
I've
Who
got
needs
myself
skills?
in a lot of pickles.
Yeah.
I like exploring. But the favorite thing about the servers is what I found was meeting the people and the community itself. Like, I've joined a great crew, and some are seasons, Catholic, Somni. And the best thing about this is the new Xbox players, having them there. And we got 2 on our team, and
Nice.
It's been really great and smooth. It's, there's hiccups, but honestly, can't complain. This has been really fun overall. Experience, like the enjoyment between the 2 entities, like, Xbox and PCers.
That's right.
Yeah, that's been a really interesting and fascinating dynamic, because I've been on the servers. I haven't been in proximity to the Xbox players, but I have found that the server is a little bit unstable, and I've only experienced that in this kind of vein, and I think it's because of the crossplay. But the entire community is making it work. There was the option to separate them out so that we wouldn't have that instability, but really, honestly, it seemed like the majority of people were like, no, let's keep the community together. Let's see what we can do to mitigate the problems. And, a lot of people seem a lot more accepting of the fact that we have to restart the server every 6 hours. Or is it 4? No, every 4 hours.
Yeah. That's one of our solutions is we have it auto reset every 4 hours to hopefully...
Right. Which is good, because I've experienced where one of my teammates will log out, but his body will still be there. And the minute he logs out, but he's still there, nothing opens, nothing works. Anything within the loading zone, you can't open a chest, you can't open a door, you can't do anything. And so I've been really appreciative because it was shortly thereafter that the reset happened and booted him out entirely. So it was good. Like it's there have been those moments where you're like, that's not good. And then, it's worked out. It's fine. I've lost a few things, but also okay because our lovely Xbox players are getting to play with the community and it's worth it.
Yeah,
I got to experience Navy SEAL high altitude skydiving, but that was for the first. That was.
Oh, did you fall out of a dungeon?
Yeah,
I did that last night too.
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know, the dungeons in the game, when you go through that little, black cave, the little portal into the cave, and you kind of do that little loading screen, you're in a dungeon and it's 5,000 meters up in the sky up above. That's where they actually keep the dungeon. So yeah, if you happen to load in before the dungeon loads in, then you start falling. if you were in the cave, if you logged out in the cave. Yeah, which has been fun for some players who have the feather cape, right? Because now you can just kind of glide around the world and go wherever you want.
Yeah, the problem is it's a 5 minutes fall
without the cape.
With the cape,
with the cape, yeah.
With the cape, it's like 5 minutes fall if you don't.
I did the blue splat.
Yeah, true, but.
Yeah, you gotta start loading that cape back onto your back.
Well, so what's interesting, when you don't have the cape, you can hit Shift and one of the WASD keys and direct yourself. You can actually move through the air. So if you're anywhere near water, you can just aim for water and not go splat.
Yeah, hopefully if your aim is correct and there's not a rock right there.
That.
I wish I knew that before.
Yeah.
Well, now you do.
Well, that's one of it's one of those conversations I've had with a friend of mine. Goes, we play a lot of video games over the years together, and like realism in video games to some degree it's okay, but you don't necessarily want everything to be realistic because then you remove the fun game mechanics. Like one of the old things we would say is like in Minecraft, for those who are familiar with that game, when you get a bucket of water and you can pour it and then it just becomes this endless stream from a bucket, just like this endless stream that can fill up like giant areas and you can swim up it. Like that's such a fun mechanic. That's how you get around a lot of times. You need to go up. Well, you swim up that water like a ladder. So it doesn't need to be realistic. And in Valheim and some other games too, when you jump, you can actually jump in one direction and redirect yourself, which is why like when you fall, you can just constantly keep redirecting yourself all the way down, and hopefully land in water if you don't have a cape on. And you don't want it to be realistic, right? You want that fun mechanic. I especially like the, movement in the air when you jump, when you're fighting, right? Because you might jump and then you realize at the last second that you don't want to go that way because the monster's there. So you redirect in the air and go the other way. So it's a fun mechanic. I love those mechanics in games. But Doran, so you mentioned my season 4 server, which is what you're playing right now. And we have Xbox and PC players playing there, obviously. We were going to split them, but decided to keep them together. Valheim Iron Gate has released a few patches. Mainly, like the big one was to fix the terrain, because the terrain could be different heights. So can you imagine, you build your building down here on this low terrain or up here on this high terrain, and then the Xbox player loads in and he sees the terrain down here. Well, then your building that's up here will start falling. But they fixed that, so that's no longer an issue. But and we reset the server every 4 hours. So the players, I asked them, do you want me to reset it every 4 or every 6? And they said, yeah, 4 is fine, because I was like, well, that's going to be, a bunch, 6 resets a day. Is that too much? They said, no, it actually makes me get out of my chair and go use the restroom, or stretch my legs or something, right? Because you know how it can be. Gamers, we understand. We could sit there all day and not realize, I've been sitting here forever. I should probably go do something for a minute, take a quick break. So, and it only takes a few minutes to restart. But yeah, I like as I mentioned earlier. So my season 4 Valheim Ancients is it's every biome is tweaked. By the way, Dorn, have you met the little mini bosses that I've added in some of the different biomes?
No.
I bet you have, but maybe you didn't notice. So they're the same mobs that are in the game, not like outside content, it's just whatever's in the game. But what I've done is I've, like, for example, in the swamps, they have the archers. I made spawners that spawn 2-star archers, which hit really hard, right? But they also have, what is it, like 2,500 health or something like that?
Yeah.
Have you met any of those in the swamp?
Oh, yes.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I've had.
Okay.
I was going to say, I have noticed a lot of 2-stars, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was trying to kill one and she was firing at me and I was like, am I doing any damage to her? What is going on? We're playing Ring Around the Rosie around a crypt. Oh gosh. Yeah. That was exciting.
Yeah. So yes, I've definitely heard the screams of my coworkers there playing up and then going up in the mountains.
Oh. Yeah, I've heard about some of the day wild and free cultists and wolves.
High means nothing there.
Yeah, so Fenrings normally come out at night, and they do. But in my season 4, you'll find 2-star Fenrings with a little bit additional health pool, just wandering around during the day too, up in the mountains.
One chased me in the meadows there yesterday.
Oh no!
I was chopping wood, and all of a sudden, the flames.
Oh, the cultist. Yeah.
Oh, the cultist. Okay, yes, the cultist. I was running. I didn't take a look behind me. I just knew something.
You just saw the fire. Start running.
Yeah, I called for Somni's help.
Yeah, I was getting ready to go into the mountains just to get some wolf pelts because we didn't have enough. And Mad Michael was like, you're gonna go up in troll gear? And I'm like, yeah, I've been in the mountains in troll gear before. It's fine. He's like, on this server? No, why? Take my old silver gear. I'm in padded now.
Yeah.
And we didn't run into any problems, but he was describing to me those 2-star Fenrings in the day, and I was like, oh, good call. Yeah, I like silver gear. Silver gear's good. Mm-hmm. Thanks for taking care of me.
Don't worry, the silver gear is not enough for a 2-star ferry. It will one-shot you either way.
Exciting.
Well, so some people have told me that, like, standard Valheim, especially on your subsequent playthroughs, that it's a little easy, and maybe your first time it's not so easy because you're not quite sure what the difficulty of certain things are. But once you learn it and you go back through it again, it starts, it's easy. But just like anything, you learn the patterns, you learn the attacks. But I got a comment on one of my YouTube videos where I did like this whole video about Fenrings and their weaknesses and what it's just all about them. And somebody in the comment says, I don't need something like it doesn't matter what their weaknesses are. They're too easy to kill as it is.
Oh no.
And that just made me think, they're such a cool creature. Let's make them not so easy. 2 stars and lots, like a health pool of like 2,500. Now go deal with that. Not so easy now. And what I thought was fun, again, you'll only find certain things in certain places. Well, hey, the cultist and the Olv, back in the ancient world of Valheim on my server, they wander outside the caves. So you find them on the mountains too, right?
It was real cute. I was wandering around and I saw this little like dark gray bundle just kind of curled up in the snow. And I was like, what the? Oh no.
Yeah. They start off just sleeping and they look so peaceful until you get close to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and so I did use mods, obviously, to create the world, but I only use vanilla assets for everything that I did in that world. And so you don't need mods to play it. If you play on my servers, or if you want to download the world, which I've made the world file available for my patrons. So if you're a patron and you want to download it for your single player game, you can play it without mods. You just throw it into your world's local folder and you can load it up.
I love that that's available because, like, as much as I'm loving logging in and playing, I'm only able to play once or twice a week. And, they've already killed Yagaluth. I feel so far behind. I feel like I'm missing out on so much. And I'm okay with that because I'm not having nearly as much FOMO as I have on other seasonal servers because I can go back in and I can go and look at everything if I want. And I have to say that I appreciate that because that just has made me relax and just enjoy the team play and not worry about anything,
Yeah, and we set up, we're using mods server side to reset all the zones in the world that players are not in. So if their player has built something, the zone the player's in and all the zones around them in a 3x3 grid pattern, so 9 zones total, will not reset. So your building, whatever you build there, will be pristine and untouched. But then all the other zones in the world get reset to initial world load. So that way, resources are refreshed, dungeons are reset, the world is reset. So if you explore, we have custom points of interest, custom locations in the world that I built. In the north, there's the Frost Mages and their fortresses, and in the Ashlands, it's the Fire Mages and their fortresses. And if somebody goes through them, I mean, there are quite a few. So I don't know if everybody will, one ththing is you can't have a small group just go through and do all of them because there's so many of them. But even if they did do, I don't know, probably almost 100 fortresses, Ashlands fortresses, and 100 Frost Mage fortresses. But if they did do all of them, it's okay because on the 1st and the 15th of every month, they reset anyways. Unless they take one and want to build in it, which you can totally do, then that one will be preserved, because it has player built structure, but all the rest will reset, which are options that I would hope that, Iron Gate will give us maybe in the future. They are giving us some new things that we're going to talk about here in the upcoming, when we talk about the Valheim news, which actually I forgot to preview, but it's new world settings. We forgot to mention. But if you want to play on my servers and join Dorn and the rest of the crew that's playing over there on season 4, or on my modded server or on my regular server, you can just go to my website. It's jiroctheviking.com, and our Discord too. A lot of people have questions. You just want to ask questions. We can help you with mods. We can help with a lot of just regular technical things in the game. Because some people like Vaste like to spend more time in Discord talking to people than playing the game. So, you'll get that too. And
I'm a rare spawn. Sometimes, those are really rare.
But yeah, so there's my links right there if you want, jiroctheviking.com, my website. Just we have a little application, fill it out and submit it. And then come over to my Discord and just hang out with us. Chat with Vaste. He's there all the time. You can tag Vaste too, at Vaste, as much as you want.
As much as you want.
Yeah. He likes personal messages too. Lots of them. Just like all day long.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Vaste's very helpful. That's why I made Vaste an admin, because he's like, he really he knows the game. He knows, loves the technical stuff. And he's actually if you ask him a question, he can probably direct you, like many of my admins can, or other players, to the information that you might need to do whatever you're looking to do. season 4 is available to my patrons, but also if you want to use it on your own server, you can absolutely do that because it's just a world file. So you can just load it directly to your world. And if you need a gaming server, if you don't have one, but you want one, you want to get one at a discount, use my link, save 10%, jiroctheviking.com/gportal. And yeah, save a little bit and play my world or whatever world you want over there. Oh, and another plug. This is not a plug for me, but this is a plug for the people who make these types of things possible. Let me bring that up here. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, it is these two fellows right here. These guys built the mods that I use for, season 4 and many of my other servers, even my permanent servers, we use some of their mods. So Jiroc and Azumat. I mean, there are some other modders that we use on our modded server and whatnot, but I actually have a link in my Discord to a whole bunch of modders and their support pages because I really believe in supporting the people who make fun stuff possible. But if you want to support these two, if you use their mods on your single player or your server, or if you want to come to my server and you want to show your appreciation beyond, supporting me, if you want on Patreon, I recommend going to the buymeacoffee.com and /Jiroc or buymeacoffee.com/Azumat. These two make a lot of mods, and without them, we would not be able to do the things that we do. Creating custom content for the players, we couldn't do it. Because, Iron Gate just has not gotten to the point where they're developing tools for the admins yet, because they're still building the base game for the players. And I totally understand that.
And I have to say, Canaris just introduced me to one of Azumat's mods called Hide Me. And what it does is it actually grays out the Steam address and player name. I wish I could see the player names and just have the Steam address blocked out. But as a streamer, it's actually really important to start protecting the identities and information of the other players. And so I was really, really, really pleased when Canaris introduced me to that, because that way I can be respectful of the people that I'm playing with while still streaming. And so, yeah, good job.
Yeah. I made a request to Smith, but he didn't understand why it was important.
Yeah, so Azumat does have a mod called Hide Me.
Yeah. I've used that one too. And yeah, it's great when he introduced that to hide the Steam IDs. But Azumat actually, he might be the most prolific modder. I think he has if you search through the mod list over on thunderstore.io, he might have the most. But I know he has a lot. And yep, I'm actually a monthly buy me a coffee patron of his.
Nice.
and regularly donate to Jiroc over there as well. So yeah, show some love to these guys. Every little bit helps if you guys want to support people out there making great content for this great game that we like to play. It's those two, Dorn, that make all that cool stuff possible that you're seeing on the server.
Absolutely. I was going to say Azumat. I've seen that name so much and I've enjoyed the mods as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually for season 4, it's literally only those two modders whose mods we use.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I'm using 5.
What's that?
I'm using the farm clock and
Oh yeah, we do have some optional client side mods that you can, I guess we do have some optional mods on the optional mod pack that you can use.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a whole list of optional mods that the client can install that don't affect the server. It's just for the client experience, as long as they don't offer something that is kind of cheaty or gives like a huge advantage over another player. We put them on our approved mod list. But yeah, running on the server to make this cool world possible, it's thanks to those two folks. But we also have another server. It's funny. We have several different Valheim servers, but
Yeah.
I also recently launched a 7 Days to Die server. Some of you might have heard of that. It's actually one of my favorite survival games of all time. I was playing it a ton before Valheim launched. And since we launched our new server, thanks to one of my admins named Kondo, who set it all up for us, I've been playing a little bit more of 7 Days to Die, and it's fun. It's even more fun for me now than it was back then, because in the about 2 years since I played it regularly, they've come out with a bunch of new content, and so it's fun for me to get to try that new content. But if you want to play on my world, it's completely free to play for everyone. You don't have to be a supporter to play or anything like that. You can search for it in the server list. It's called Jiroc's Niflheim, which is the location or the word for the Norse world of the dead. So I thought I'd keep the Viking theme going. It's kind of an odd word, Niflheim. It's not. I'm not familiar with. We don't have any words in the English language that are similar to that. Niflheim. So it was kind of an interesting word to learn. But Alpha 21 for 7 Days to Die is going to drop pretty soon. They keep announcing it, that it's coming any day now. And when it does, there's tons of new content coming with it. So we're going to reset our world and load Alpha 21. So if you want to take a little break from Valheim every once in a while, you jump back and forth if you have the time for it. I know it's like managing the time is difficult, depending on what's going on.
Can't play it because it's first person perspective.
Oh, is that cause some dizziness or something with you?
Yeah, among other things. Yeah. It triggers major migraines and nausea. But I've seen a lot of the players from the community hopping in there and playing, and it's been really fun to see all of these lovely people hanging out on this server too. So yeah.
It's nice when somebody wants to take a break from Valheim rather than them just, leaving our community for a bit and then coming back. They can jump around to a different game. And I'm actually planning on opening more gaming servers in the future too, so that we can keep our community here. If they feel like playing a different game, then we will have those options. But yeah, Alpha 21 again is going to drop soon, so we'll be resetting the world. So if you want to get in on that, and again, there's no application needed for that server. You can actually just find it in the server list, or if you come over to my Discord, discord.gg/Jiroc the Viking, which is also right. I always get confused out there.
I know. I was just doing that too.
It's like, it's always the opposite. Like I feel like I should point that way. It's the opposite up in that corner, discord.gg/Jiroc the Viking. And you'll see the channel, and we have one called 7 Days to Die info, and all the connection info to get on that server is there. So you can do that. And if you happen to be a supporter of mine, over on Patreon, we have a few fun perks, to make your zombie killing more fun. And we have lots of extras on the 7 Days to Die server, even for non-supporters, for everybody, that you don't get in vanilla, that just make the experience a little more fun, especially if for a community. Because if you're by yourself and you're wandering out across the map, it's okay. There's no teleports in the game. You have to use vehicles or run. So getting all the way across the map to play with another player is difficult. There's no portals. It's not 7 days to portal like Podheim. But so with mods installed on the server, you don't need mods to play it. But installed on the 7 Days to Die server, you actually get what we call a home teleport to teleport home, and you can teleport to the marketplace. These are ways to help you get across the map to interact with other players, a little more easily. Because it's a multiplayer server, so you don't want to spend you don't want to spend an hour just to run across the map to get to somebody that you want to play with.
I can mood. I can really to speak to that, but I will save all of your ears. But so Jiroc, tell us about the computer that you've been playing all these fabulous games on, because my poor laptop has been struggling lately.
Oh, well, thank you for that segue. I own a Zydax computer, and I highly recommend it. What was it about I've had mine for almost 2 years now, and at some point the power supply went out, and they replaced it no problem, because they have they're one of the few companies that have a lifetime parts and labor warranty for the PCs, which, I mean, try to find another company that for your entire life will replace anything for free in your PC, and the labor to do it for free, right? So I highly recommend it. If you need they have pre-built ones, if you need a pre-built one, or if you have like specialized needs, you can get a custom built one. Cause like I'm a video editor, obviously. I've been a filmmaker since 98. So like 25 years now. So I actually wanted one specifically for video editing, and that worked well with Adobe Premiere Pro, so that I could, have the smoothest video editing experience. And it was great. I got on the phone with them, and they said, well, you might want this part, and this part, because they're even better for working with Adobe Premiere. So that was great. So I got a little boost in performance of Premiere than I would have if I had gotten similar parts, but that weren't certified with Premiere. And it's just because they have all that knowledge there. So I highly recommend them. JirocTheViking.com/Zydax if you're looking for one, or a laptop too. Actually, I need a new gaming laptop, so I'll probably be using my own link here soon. But Morning, what have you been doing over on Twitch these days?
Gosh, well, it's been 3 weeks, so I've done a few things. I've done a couple of renditions of the date night experience, where we started on the public test branch with my husband, and have been doing a giant Michelin castle build on the top of some spires. And husband really wants me to blueprint this and make this a POI on one of your resource server events.
Yeah. Yeah, that would definitely be fun.
And I don't know, do you have the picture that I sent you of that?
Yeah, let's see.
He's trying to make it as non-Euclidean and weird as possible, and then I've appended a tower next to it.
It has a lot of points and angles on it. Yeah,
It does.
Zoom in here. This tower is interesting.
Oh, thanks.
Oh,
and
What are you using to create that spiky look up there?
Just there's the triangular build piece, and it's just two of those together.
Oh, the marble pieces?
Yeah, those are the marble pieces. And then I'm actually going to be building a whole like wooden structure on top of that. And we have a caged yawl, so as to prevent other yawls from spawning in the area.
Is that visible in this picture?
Not in this picture.
Okay.
I'll have to take an additional picture to get that. But yeah, so we've been having fun building this. I started to decorate the kitchen. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see, what other things have I been doing? I've been doing the biome challenge. I've been playing on season 4 server for Valheim Ancients. And a lot of people have seemed interested in that. I did my birthday stream. I turned 40 on Friday.
Oh, happy birthday. Belated.
Thank you.
I have a clip here.
Yeah, I did a chaos stream.
Oh, you did another chaos stream.
Yeah, you were out of town, Gwen was out of town, but I had one other streamer from Fox and Bull. She also she had her birthday on the same day, and then Bambi joined us.
Oh, nice.
And so this is where people can come into my channel and just spawn creatures in on us. So go ahead and play and take a look.
Okay, here we go. I love all the tendrils out of the ground from the elder.
Yeah. So we can't hear it listening in right now, but you're hearing that someone is summoning ghosts and then more ghosts.
Oh.
And at one point we had like an entire army of Grey Dwarves. We had over 20 trolls at one point. The deaths were astronomical. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember doing this with you. That was a subscriber stream that you did.
Yeah,
the first time, right?
Yeah, I had hit 1,000 followers.
Yeah, 1,000 followers. Yeah, that was crazy. I died so many times, and they're just mobs everywhere because the viewers, they can just.
And then that's the clip repeating.
Yeah,
so.
it's repeating. Yeah, you could see the ghosts all around too, just keep popping in.
No, geez. Yeah, no. So it's intense, but it was a lot of fun, and there were a lot of laughs. I think this is the only clip that was taken that night that I haven't gone through and double checked for. It's the only clip that other people took that night where I'm not cursing up a blue streak. I figured this would be the safest one for YouTube.
Yeah. That's funny. But how long did the chaos stream last?
I think I hit the start button on Chaos at about 10 p.m. and went until 3 or 4 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time to be constantly harassed by the viewers and their monsters they spawning.
Yes, it was a very long time. I had started with a sort of starter hut, and we did, for the most part, keep it intact, but we also never went there. I think we went there twice, and our beds were destroyed the first time we went there. Anyway, so we don't have to keep watching the clip, but
yeah. Cool.
What? I like the surprised look you keep getting.
No. Oh, yeah. No. Well, it's surprising because there's no cooldown when people spend money to spawn things in.
Yeah.
There's just a cooldown when they use channel points, which is free. And then my husband kept refunding people's channel points so they could keep doing it.
You might have to
troll.
Yeah, he was trolling you. That's funny.
Husband. That was good.
But yeah.
Well, yeah. If anybody watching this podcast or listening to this podcast has not seen this chaos stream over on Twitch of hers, or the previous one she did, is the previous one still available on Twitch? Okay.
Oh, maybe I might. I do have it uploaded and saved on YouTube.
Oh,
so I can always
YouTube. Okay.
I can always publish. Well, I haven't published it, but I can always publish the chaos streams.
Yeah.
Just because it's hilarious and fun.
It's crazy.
It's also crazy, but yeah, there was there was an entire army of almost 100 Grey Dwarves chasing after me at one point.
How'd your computer handle that when you had a lot of things on screen?
You'll notice that there are a couple of different recordings of that night. It's because my computer and my OBS crashed, I think 4 or 5 times.
Oh wow.
I had to completely restart my computer. My computer was just like, I hate you.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well,
it was good times.
And you mentioned that you played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Is that the new one, right?
No.
Is that the first one?
That's the first one. So I've started playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order to get caught up on the story because Survivor did just drop. But I know for a fact that I will not be able to play Survivor until they get some major patches in.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, but I will definitely, it's fine. I have time to play this one. And I've been playing that on Wednesday nights, Thursday mornings for Europe and Thursday evenings for Australia. But when I get a chance, when I'm not totally exhausted, I do try to play Star Wars on Wednesdays. So that's been fun. And then we're going to be doing an upcoming build competition, but I'm going to let Jiroc talk about that.
Well, yeah, last year for May the 4th, we did May the 4th Be With You build competition and let the players build Star Wars things and submit them for the build competition. And so, of course, May the 4th is coming out, 2 days from now. So
Yep.
by the time you hear this podcast, it will have already happened. So there might be, hopefully there's a live stream available on my channel. And if Morning can make it, she'll probably have a stream on Twitch as well. And if Gwen can make it, she'll have a stream there as well. But yeah, I think we have a couple of players who do have entries for this year. I know of at least one, and he's the one who won first place last year.
Yeah.
Has a new build. So I'm excited to see that one. So if you're listening to this podcast and you have not seen the May the 4th Be With You Star Wars stream, go back to one of our channels and look for it, and you'll get a chance to see all those cool Star Wars builds. It's amazing what people come up with, even in like the vanilla without any mods. They build some amazing things.
Yeah. Last year was such a delight, and there were so many beautiful, creative things that came out of that build. And I've gotten a sneak peek of one of the entries for this year, and I cannot wait to see it in person. It looks amazing.
Yeah, the build competitions are always fascinating to me, because like no matter how much you come up with that you can think of to do, when you have put multiple minds, together, or there's so many different ideas going around in different brains that it's fascinating. Like I never would have thought to do that. And that's one of my favorite things about all the different build competitions, is just learning what is even possible, the way people come up with. And people have, I even recently I get a bunch of comments on my YouTube channel because like I preview some of the updates that are coming to Valheim, and people still say, but we should be able to rotate the pieces in any direction, because right now we can only rotate pieces on one axis, but people want to be able to rotate on all axes. And yeah, that gives you even more creative choices. But my goodness, people only being able to rotate on that one axis, they still come up with some amazing builds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a mod for that.
Well, yeah,
Right.
there's a mod to allow you to rotate on all the different axes. I was going to ask Dorn though. Dorn, do you consider yourself a big builder, or are you learning to become a builder?
I am. I do love building. I entered just up haphazardly into a contest and just threw it in. I did a lighthouse, got third place.
Oh, nice.
And it's kind of nice to do the builds. I do like building a lot and experimenting a lot. So I was staring at your castle build with a micro glass. So it was really nice to see that castle and all the intricate details that you had on there. That was beautiful. So I do enjoy building a lot.
Yeah. I think that's, the low pixel graphics. You hear people's knee-jerk reaction, maybe even like you, Dorn. You said like, "What is this low resolution looking game?" But you get in the game, and the volumetric environmental effects are so much better than even some of the AAA games out there. They have the resolution, but they don't have the environment down right. So in my opinion, it looks better despite the low graphics. But that's just like one part of Valheim. I think that the building in Valheim is one of the biggest attractors, to this game. Once people start building, like when I go play a different game that doesn't allow me to build, I don't want to play it. Or if it does allow me to build, but then I can't shift click to slide pieces around, like in 7 Days to Die. I can't do that. I'm always going, why don't you let me slide pieces?
I think you might like Smallland, Jiroc.
Oh, I'm sure I would. Yeah. I tried the, what's the other game where you're miniature in a backyard?
Grounded.
I tried Grounded, and it was fun. The interface I felt wasn't as intuitive, but from what I've seen from Smallland, it's definitely one of the games I'm going to have to give a try. Yeah. Let's see. So Valheim news. Let's talk about Valheim news. So One of my favorite things that the Valheim news that they put out was this right here. Or these world modifiers. Check this out. They have presets which just basically adjust all the radio buttons and the sliders down here. But they say easy, hard, hardcore, casual, hammer mode, and immersive. And combat. I think that one is. He mouses over them. You get tooltips here. But he jumps around, so it's kind of hard to see exactly. But if you see, he's got easy. Combat is easier, and there are less raids on your base. Combat is harder. Monsters will raid your base more often. Hardcore. Combat is a lot harder. Monsters will raid your base more often. When you die, all your items you are carrying and skills are lost forever.
That's going to make so many people happy. Just this variability. I know some people who are just like, yeah, I cannot wait to try this on hardest mode and say, forget it. We're just going to try this and see how it goes,
Yeah. For my seasonal servers, like I'm always trying to tweak the settings that I can in the game to create, maybe slightly harder experience. But with these sliders now, you can really do it. I think some players might not like super hardcore mode stuff because, losing all skills. I have players who are frustrated by losing 5% of their skills, or whatever the percentages they lose now. I mean, I guess if you're prepared for it, maybe it's not that bad, but. And easier modes, especially like if you like to do creative building too, you can basically turn mobs off so they don't even attack you.
That's going to make so many people happy. Like all of this, I'm very excited to see how this goes.
And there's a toggle here that says portal items. And now he never actually mouses over it to get the tooltip, but I assume that means that you're going to be able to portal everything, including the metals and like dragon eggs and different things in the game.
Yeah, it seems that it's like the portal everything.
Yeah.
I'm not sure at what extent. I'm not sure it includes pets, but for sure it will include metals and non-portable things.
Oh, that's probably why they put portal items there instead of like portal everything, because then people will think maybe they could portal their pets and they can't.
You can always portal ticks.
You can portal ticks, that's for sure. And then no map and no portals. No portals.
I hate that one. I think they include that one.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's great for the people that want it. I think it's great that they've added all of these options. I will never use it. Vaste will never use it.
No.
Probably.
But having the options is what the thing is. Valheim is still like relevant because it gives you the freedom to do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Give the player more freedom, more customization, and Valheim will stay relevant for a lot more years. So this is a great step. This is actually a great step for them.
Yeah. What shows to me is the devs listen to the people playing the game and love it so much, because everything you see there, I've seen versions of it being duplicated, and just seeing that right there as world modifiers, it's beautiful. That makes me really proud and loves the game more. And I love the building aspect too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that no build cost toggle is going to be amazing for players, so that they can just build in peace if they want, without having to go and harvest all their materials. If you just want to do creative stuff, then there you go. You have that option right there.
Right, and I know so many people who have a point of pride that they have never used dev commands and some other stuff. And so it'll be nice to open this up to people who are either, nervous to try that or, for whatever reason. I think that'll be a really good, nice bonus addition.
And when they release it, there's going to be a lot of game modes that people will create with all these settings merged up. So we have to wait and see what comes out of this.
Yeah.
Because try imagine a hard mode, a really hardcore mode with no build cost. What can people do? What game mode you can do inside Valheim?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people do as a somebody who runs servers for a community. It makes me wonder. It gives me a lot more options here too that I don't need mods for, because I've been using mods to accomplish some of these things. Mm-hmm. But there are some things here that I couldn't do easily with mods. It's without the players requiring mods too, right? Like not every player wants to play with a bunch of mods. So if I can create a vanilla experience like I did with season 4, even better. But I have to worry about segregating the community, right? Like if I open one server that's too hard, one server that's too easy, the people who want hard will go hard, and people who go easy will go easy. I mean, you can cater to more play styles that way. But yeah, that it might mean having to open up multiple seasonal servers again, because we've done that in the past. I've done like an easy, a hard mode, and then a no map server all in one season. But we'll see what happens with this. This is awesome that they're doing things like this, and I'm just excited to see what else they're going to come up with for us for tools. Because using mods right now is, mods are always, because they're not officially supported, they can be a little buggy. So you got to kind of back and forth with the modder. And they're pretty good. But having it just officially in the game, some of these options is
and some awesome. Mods generate a lot of stress in the game, and the server. So we had in the first tries of Jotun Quest, it was really hard to play.
Yeah, our modded server, Jotun Quest. Yep. So we had probably too many mods on that originally, but we've scaled it back and now it runs very smoothly. But yeah, having it all officially supported in game, if there are any bugs, then then the team at Iron Gate will get it fixed if it's a feature that they're supporting. So yeah, the more features they add, the better. So also in Valheim news, there was a hot fix patch for the Xbox terrain height map. Let's see, do I even have that? Yeah. They just sort of slipped this one in. I don't know if anybody even noticed it. Some small download on your client. I mean, we notice it because we're running servers and we have to update servers and mod packs and stuff every time there's an update, even if it's a small one. But yeah, this one was those height map fixes that I was talking about earlier. So that's good. I would love to see Xbox and PC playing together because we're all just Valheim players. And Dorn, as far as playing with Xbox players, have there been any issues for the PC or Xbox players? How have they been dealing with playing those two formats on the same server?
The only issue ever arose was with the build-in dungeon mod. They could not alter anything if we built in there, so we would have to build things for them. They'd claim a bed kind of thing. But everything else was just smooth. I mean, it was just the tick above anything beginning, but right now there's minimal issues with our group, and we got 2 Xbox players, and it's great. It's really fun to see how smooth these two entities work together. Yeah. So there you go. I was great to see Xbox get the game. I always worry when a game gets a console port, because some of those games change the interface for the PC. The way, like, you suddenly as a PC, I'm used to using hotkeys and stuff, and now I have to suddenly start dealing with radio wheels and all these different weird things that the joystick, because they got to select an option on a radio wheel or whatever. Like, I don't want that. I have a keyboard. I have a Stream Deck.
with extra buttons, for things, in addition to the keyboard. So, I don't want, have to deal with more interface options that the console players do. But the console players, they have the console, they like playing on the console, so they have to have those options. And I like the way Valheim is doing it. So the big dev blog from Iron Gate came out. This has tons of things in it. And it came out actually the morning I was leaving for Southern California to go to Stagecoach, because we were there for almost a week. But yeah, the morning of this came out and I thought, do I have time before we get ready to go? And I was like, my wife's looking at me saying, no, we got to go. Let's go. So I didn't have time to do a quick video on this, but yeah, look at this image right here. Anybody know what that is?
I don't know. I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it? Let's switch over. There you go. Check this out. The dev blog, they call it Fearsome Foes.
Also, we should say spoiler warnings.
Yes, there are spoiler
Here and now.
warnings. Don't look at that. Yeah, Morning, can you describe this to our listeners?
Yeah, so this to me looks like... Gosh, okay, so the wheels are wooden wheels with spikes on them, so it looks as if they could go through more difficult or rugged terrain. And then it literally looks like there's some sort of metallic engine with some copper coils stretching down in an arch over a lip. And it looks like it's probably a hand cart, because it's got those two... what look like handles on either side of the angle that's tilting down, which our carts do as well. But this might be some sort of catapult.
To me, it looks like a portable barbecue.
Portable barbecue. It does look like a portable barbecue. Yeah. Or
if you see the other side, for me, it was like a trebuchet. It is called.
Trebuchet.
No,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the scene that they hit the door to try to break it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. But it's definitely, who knows? It might be some sort of siege weapon.
That will make things so much interesting.
It'd be cool if that was like a portable oven and we could cook our foods on the go.
That would be good. It does. It looks like a giant barbecue on a wooden cart.
It does. That's so good. I love this. This is hilarious.
Well,
but it definitely looks like it'll use iron and copper and either wood or maybe even fine wood. And I don't know, maybe some of the springs that we get, the Dwerger springs that you use, that you make at the artisan table from the Mistlands.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at the materials for this, and you trying to project, or what might be the materials for this. There's probably not much wood in the Ashlands, I would guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, are there trees that grow in the Ashlands, or maybe some dead petrified or like burnt wood? I don't know. Like,
yeah.
And these pictures, I haven't seen any.
I would say the Ashland material will be to fuel the engine.
Oh,
I would say that
it like coal or something.
Yeah, the rest of the material will be like the normal materials we already have, but the inside of the engine, maybe the fuel, maybe some more mechanisms or magic stuff that you will need to finish the engine will be a Ashland's material.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, speaking of this potentially being magic, let me show you one of the videos that Jonathan released of this thing. So this is a big spoiler, and I haven't
seen the video.
This looks like magic to me. Watch this.
Oh my gosh!
See that? There it is.
So it unfolds.
Yeah, it's deployed. So now you can see an obvious catapult, right?
Got a metallic basket at one end and then a heavily weighted section at the opposite end. Okay. All right. Let's watch this video.
Now this is the most powerful magic in Valheim. I'm serious. You've never seen anything this powerful. Ready? Here we go.
Yeah. You just put
Look at that magic.
What?
Can you explain to people what you just saw?
So he put a single piece of wood in the catapult, and as it swings through the air, it looks like the wood is almost exponentially duplicating, and then it's so heavily duplicating that the wood is pushing the catapult back in the opposite direction with force. So it's creating a lot of wood, and then it's just weighting down. That's funny.
Solve the wood
When
farm
you
problem.
said buggy, you were not kidding. That is a serious bug.
Yeah. In his post here on Twitter, he says working as intended, and then he has a little trademark symbol.
Well, and the funny thing is that it doesn't actually go anywhere. Like, it doesn't release the piece of wood far away. It launches it straight to the ground on the opposite side. So it's a complete 180 arc. And then a backwards arc with the wood just going forward. That is too funny.
Yeah. They clearly mess up the physics and the instances for the animation, because that's too much.
Yeah. So obviously they're working out the bugs with that. But I thought that was funny when he posted that. This other tweet that he has is the catapult actually in the Ashlands here. Let's see.
Okay. All right.
And watch the movement of the whole thing.
Yeah, I was just saying, so there are 4 pegs that literally lift the wheels up and anchor it so that it can't be like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. And you can see the stone that he put in, it just falls to the ground after it launches it. It does. That instead of launching, so they're still working out the mechanics, but
oh my gosh, that is so funny.
Yeah.
How many seconds before
but
the launch?
I'm sorry, but can we just take a moment and look at the background and
look at the lava, the
heat and the steam rising up off of the lava in the background, and look at the verticality of the rocks that are sticking up out of the ground. That is interesting.
Yeah.
And that plateau back there. Oh, oh. Sorry, I have a moment.
There's Dream.
Yeah, so they're definitely doing some fun stuff down there. I love this whole idea of the fortresses. Instead of going into a dungeon that's, you warp into way up in the sky, you're going to fortresses that are out there on the ground and then attacking them to get in. Like, this is kind of what I've tried to do with my seasonal servers, is create places on the in the world on the ground that players have to come up and fight their way into. And now they're doing that whole theme here for the Ashlands. So,
Jiroc, you just gave me a brilliant idea, and I'm going to have to try it the next time I stream.
Are you going to tell us, or do we have to wait?
You have to wait.
Okay. Well, then I'll take credit for the idea then.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And Dorn, have you seen these previews, or is this the first time you've gotten a chance to see these?
Got to see the wood one, not this one.
Yeah.
Background, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sit there, and I was like, it doesn't look like it has the barrel, but I mean, if you disassemble it, because I wonder if the other thing we were seeing in the picture, the barbecue, if it's
No, there's definitely different things for sure.
wow.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. It does look like 2 different things, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know.
This has a long arm on either side, and then like this big iron chest barbecue looking thing. And this doesn't have 2 long arms on the sides. It has the 1 arm in the middle and these legs on the sides. I don't know.
Those devs with the teases.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. We'll have to see if it's 2 different items or 1 different item. I mean, they were talking up that it's, you have to siege these fortresses. So maybe these are different type of siege weapons.
Oh, I know this barbecue scene.
Yeah.
The engine is to the arm, the pointy arm in the other side, like a piston. I think it will work like a piston with the engine.
Oh, like to batter a wall or a giant door down or something?
Yeah, like a pneumatic hammer, is it called?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Cool. Well, guess we'll... And I wonder if there are going to be others. If we have 2, maybe there are even more. Who knows? But yeah, these big battles are going to be fun. Actually, being able to do siege battles like this actually makes me think that setting up events and locations for the players to siege will be more fun, and even to have like the players like competitions where they build and try to siege each other's bases might be fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, cool. And then I know Dorn is mostly excited so he can get this wood duplicator version over here.
I mean, who doesn't want that in Valheim?
Yeah. Save you time, right? For having to harvest wood.
If it doesn't crash your game.
Is there any way to zoom into the ground of that one buggy video? Yeah, that one.
Into the
upper left-hand corner.
Up here?
Yeah, is that just more of them?
Yeah, there's more of these catapult things. I can't really see one that looks different. Or even like the one with the barbecue on it.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Well, you do got to feed the troops while you're out there, so maybe it's a portable barbecue. But back to the dev blog. So that was just that. And then, of course, they say, of course, it won't just be the fortresses themselves that are challenging, but also the creatures who guard them. And this is the fallen Valkyrie right here.
So this is really interesting because you have... we know that the Valkyrie is the creature. Well, okay, for those of you who don't know, the Valkyrie in the game is represented by the creature that initially flies you in. So, the bird face, the armor, the big ol' wings, and she'll have you in her claws. And then this image, there are these very long wing bones that, come out of the arm socket areas. And there are claws at that middle joint and then the bone that goes down. And then what's trailing off of it are, very thin bones and raggedy looking feathers that, you could almost imagine they were more like strips of cloth. And then, the skull is the skull of a bird with red eyes. And then the armor is sort of this glowing orange color, so it could be on fire, it could be like that burning internal feature, or it could just be bright orange armor. And
I don't think it's an armor.
I mean,
I think it's skin or rotten meat.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because if you look at the midsection, it's actually hollow. There's a above where you have your mouse, Jiroc.
There's a hollow spot right here.
Yeah, so that's see-through. And then, sort of the coloration darkens but continues down around the waist, almost how you would imagine a skirt or a loincloth or a waist piece would be. And then the tail feathers look a little raggedy, and then the legs are, just that bird scale like gray flesh, and then the kneecaps look orange, as if that either might be maybe a shin guard or something else. So I do think that might be armor, not rotten flesh, but it looks like a really weird texture.
I think you and Vaste should bet a chest full of ice cream on it.
I'm so glad Gwen isn't on right now, because I finally have that chest completed and I need to take it to the admin platform to give to Gwen at the May the 4th competition.
Well, I should bet, so you pay for me the chess IO one.
Well, you were supposed to help me with that. It was the two of us together, and I just completed it. So I don't know. But yeah, we should work out who's right on this one as to what the reward would be. I'm going to say a black metal chest of marble.
Oh God, no.
Marble.
He's not confident enough to risk it.
No, I don't like Mistlands. I have to say, I don't like Mistlands. I think it was a missed opportunity from them.
Okay, well, we will figure something out.
Well, you play on my Season 4 server. Oh, I forgot to mention on Season 4, there's almost no mist on Season 4 in the Mistlands. I removed about 97% of the mist, so you can run around and enjoy the Mistlands without the mist. It looks beautiful.
Not only that, but there's marble everywhere.
Yes, there's marble everywhere in the world, not just in the Mistlands. And then the other picture they showed us here was this one of the what do they call them? The charred, right? Is that?
Yeah,
that's what they call them. Let's see,
what
are they? The charred, like, as if they have been crispy fried, charred.
Yeah.
So these look like they might be humanoid. Probably, I don't know. I don't know if the head is a face or like a helmet covering.
A melted helmet.
Yeah.
A melted helmet.
The other one in the background doesn't look like it has that melted helmet.
Yeah, okay. And then the sword is all wavy and black and gross looking, and there's that internal glow. The bones are all blackened, and there are definitely what look like clothing and or armor pieces that have been either fused on or disintegrated mostly away. Yeah, burnt away. Yeah. And that's going to be real interesting. And the image is also surrounded by, on either side, by 2 rivers of lava that it's going to be real interesting to see how we get around with that.
I see nowhere to run.
Yeah.
It's going to be annoying to explore Ashlands if the lava works as most of us think
there might be.
Is it instant death or is it you take a bunch of damage real fast?
Both are annoying, so there's no difference.
I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting if maybe you get a new kind of armor that allows you to be impervious to it, or if the Fenring armor allows you to scoot over it with minimal damage. It'll be interesting to see which one of those might be opportunities, because if the Fenring armor continues to be relevant through Ashlands, I'm going to be absolutely ecstatic.
I was going to say they might need to rethink the Fenrir armor because it's way too relevant.
Oh, well, and have you heard of the let's see here. It won't be relevant in the Ashlands, but there's a hybrid armor concept that gives you the max amount of armor. Where it's the root pants, the
the root chest,
yes, that's right. The root chest, the Fenring pants,
and the body helmet or the carapace helmet.
The carapace helmet, yeah. Because that way you get the pierce resistance with the root chest, the speed bonus from the Fenring pants, and the max amount of armor from the carapace helmet. And I've been told that it looks absolutely ugly, but I can't wait to try it. I want to try it.
It's horrendous. Don't
do it.
For utility, do it. But then when you're seen in public, you got to switch.
It's not that. It should be the better armor to explore Mistlands. Don't worry, you will die either way. There's no difference. It's better to have either the Fenris armor that don't get hit or use the mage gear and the bubble.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Oh, the bubble might be impervious to the heat. That'd be interesting.
Well, yeah, and we also have the wine too. So maybe if you combine all those, you can deal with the lava a little bit more.
Magic.
I think the lava will be through it.
Maybe you need something. You can get something from the Ashlands too that will make you impervious.
Maybe because if you don't, Ashlands will be just rough.
I'm interested. Or you just might have to get really good at building bridges. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. I want to see where this goes.
This reminds me in Conan Exiles when they finally released one of their DLCs. They opened up the volcano, and you could go into the volcano, and if you touch the lava, I think you died almost instantly. So, and it was, flowing everywhere on the inside, and there were ruins in there. So yeah, build bridges. That's when you said that morning, that reminded me, we had to build little bridges over lava, little streams of lava everywhere.
So
that's probably what you'll have to do here. The other thing they added, was this.
Oh, yeah, the bone serpent, bone moss serpent looks so creepy.
Yeah, I can zoom into it, but check that out.
Yeah, that'll be so interesting. So it's 2 showing glowing eyes, so probably 4 eyes, and sort of this really creepy looking head. And then the scales themselves look more like the chitin that you get, like just the image of the chitin itself.
Yeah, they do.
As sort of plates along the length of this. And then the tail is sort of, I can't quite tell if that's just frilly or I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing the full creature because it looks like it disappears into the water, huh?
A little bit, maybe. But yeah, those glowing yellow eyes, that looks like it's going to be actually really hard to see. Because it blends fairly. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so here's another image where its mouth is open and its head has come up above the water, and it's got these long filaments inside the jaw, and then the very sharp needle teeth inside the sharp pokey teeth of the skeleton. So there are many, many layers of gross teeth. And it has that same animation that the serpent does when it comes up and screams at you, is what it looks like. And yeah, those it has this weird plating that it's almost like a combination of a spine vertebra and chitin plates.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you wonder where's the soft tissue in this thing. It's just, I guess it's all underneath the bone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, same for Jotuns.
Yeah. And I love this shot of the Ashlands from the water.
Yeah.
It's like it's so hot, it's burning all the way out to the water here.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting to see.
Yep. Well, Doran, you have to get through Yagloth and Mistlands in time for the Ashlands. Be so much new content.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward, especially the weapons, armor, and what's going to be coming. Oh, build pieces.
Yeah,
always new build pieces. We're always hoping for, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
In one of these pictures, they had some build pieces. Oh, I think we looked at it in the this one here, was it?
No, what is the one with the Viking celebrating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
In the dev blog is the last one, I think, the next one.
Oh, this one here with the
oh yeah.
The barbecue on the cart. There's some build pieces here. They look like somewhat similar to the stone pieces that we have, but very dark and different shapes. These pillars here and whatever is there.
Definitely look like they're made from some kind of volcanic rock.
Yeah. So
which will be interesting.
Yeah. And yeah, I showed quickly there for whoever's watching, but yeah, they released a spring teaser where they're celebrating Valborg.
Yes.
I have a page open here. Walpurgis Night. Walpurgis, however you say that. But yeah, or otherwise known, also called Valborg.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Saint Walpurga was hailed by the Christians of Germany for battling pests, rabies, and whooping cough, as well as witchcraft.
Interesting.
And they released, let's see, where is those pictures? I have them here somewhere. I got mixed up with all this stuff. Oh, they're on my.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, so this one, they're showing off new clothes. Too bad Gwen's not here. She's missing out on all these cool clothes.
Look at the chest in the background.
I know, isn't that cool?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
That looks so cool. That looks like it's made out of copper and troll hide, which, yes, please.
Yeah.
We have so much copper now, and I have so much troll hide. If that's how you make that chest, wood, copper, and troll hide, I'm into it. Those will be all over my base.
Maybe we get gold with Ashlands.
Maybe. Could be gold too.
Oh.
No, I think they're going to release that when they release Hilder's Quest and some of these other updates that they've been working on.
Well, yeah, I think this image, you're right, is from the Hilder's Quest patch. So maybe that chest will come with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not just part of the adventure, the quest of Hilder's Quest, and it's actually a player build item, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this clothes, I'm sure Glenn would be talking about all the detail on these clothes if she were here, but
yeah,
it's pretty cool. And in the other image, we get another look at the clothes, but this is the one where they're celebrating.
This is
Valborg.
Yeah.
But what do you see right there in the hand?
I see a sparkler, which, what the heck? That is, one, super cute. And two, what? That is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, it helps with the role-playing stuff. That we have fireworks. We've done a lot of things in game with the fireworks to celebrate, but adding, some new clothes and then, some handheld sparklers. Hopefully that's not just for this image.
Super into it. Yeah. I'm super into it. I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they're talking about, this is for springtime celebration. So, maybe Hilder's Quest is released in May.
Yeah.
Maybe. They didn't say it was coming with Ashlands. As far as we know, there are two different updates.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been talked about as two different updates. So maybe Hilder's Quest is coming soon.
Yes. That would be so great.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Any new content's fun, but things that add your role-playing content, that's just a different type of gameplay. You go out, you fight the creatures, and you do all the adventuring, and then you build a bunch of stuff, but then you just want to run around and do a little bit of role-playing sometimes.
You know what?
What's that?
We are sure to get an update soon, because they need to introduce the Maypole at some point in May and June.
Yep.
Unless they introduce it with Halloween like last year, but well.
Yeah, at the last minute.
Yeah.
When Halloween's over, we finally got the Halloween stuff, right? As Halloween was ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Jacko turnips we got like on October 30th.
Yeah. But yeah, so new clothes are awesome. I know Gwen loves this stuff. And if you guys want to support me and get your own cool Viking stuff, clothes, my sponsor Grimfrost, you can just use my link, jiroctheviking.com/Grimfrost. They're the ones who actually did gave away prizes for the Baldur competition that Valheim did a while back. You remember that one, Morning?
Sorry, the child just woke up, so I had to talk to him.
No worries. Well, yeah, the Baldur competition that we several people from our server submitted things. But yeah, Grimfrost was a sponsor, and that's how I first learned about them. And I reached out to them and just said, "Hey, I create a lot of Valheim content. It's all Viking stuff." And they said, "Yeah, you could definitely." There would be I could become an affiliate of theirs. So yeah, they have modern historical stuff. Some of the historical stuff is inspired by actual archaeological finds. And they have a lot of clothes. I built a Halloween outfit that I hope to wear for more than just Halloween.
Yes.
In the future.
We need to schedule a trip to the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah. Walk around the Renaissance Fair as a Viking.
Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, check them out if you'd like. And before we go, we have one more quick segment that's always fun.
Indeed.
Morning, are you ready? What are we doing today?
I am ready. We have our Valheim trivia. We have 4 questions, so not too many. And the child woke up, so I'm on a timer.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
All right. So, Dorn, do you have access to the chat, podcast recording text chat?
No, do not.
Okay.
Let me give that to you real quick. Okay, there you go. You should have it access now.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So this first question is relevant to what we were just talking about. So hopefully you guys will be able to answer. All right. So the first question is a fill in the blank. There are different kinds of answers. Several will work. The Swedish tradition that involves a maypole happens during what time of the year?
So for the listeners, we're typing in Discord our answers. And we're waiting for everybody.
All right. We have everyone's answers. So we have summer from Jiroc, spring from Vaste, and spring solstice from Dorn. The answer is it is a midsummer event. So mid-June, midsummer, summer. So Jiroc takes the point. Woo-hoo! So we will probably not be seeing the maypoles this month of Vaste, but mid-June. You started talking about that, and I just
you didn't read my answer correctly.
Okay, you said sprint, but I was interpreting that you meant spring, and I'm not going to harass you for your English or for quick typing. I was being kind, but if you want to be called out, yeah, oh my God, Vashe, you wrote sprint. You weren't going to get this right no matter what.
He likes to do things during the sprint time of year.
All right, next question.
Hey everyone, the trivia segment is available for Patreons at any level. Your support is much appreciated. You can just go to patreon.com/Jiroc the Viking. Well, Dorn, hope you had fun with us here today.
Yes, I did.
To everyone, thank you for joining me this week. It's been an absolute blast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to talk about.
Good time. Yeah, it was a long one.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for this week. Until the next podcast, everybody have fun out there.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.